Demon Challenge. It's been a few days since I did the last one. Yeah, and I'm back to continue working on my mouse game. This is Three Skulls Tavern. I'm Matt, your host. Um, it struck me the other day as I was working on Year Zero Mini. That was the previous live stream I've done. That this game, I've introduced some mechanics to this game here from other games, and was kind of starting to take it away a little bit from the original vision of Year Zero Mini. And I was actually referencing, when I was working on Year Zero Mini, I was referencing some of the things I'd done here in this project to do a little bit of a scrub, specifically around conflict. And it struck me that rather than reinventing the wheel or taking this in a direction where it's at its core a little bit different to Year Zero Mini, I need to bring it back in line with how Year Zero Mini works and just kind of flesh out those certain elements. And in fact, I did put this down as one of my design goals here, which is a lightweight, I've got it highlighted here, a lightweight, kid-friendly game based on Year Zero Mini. And that means making it sideways compatible, so it can be upgraded to Year Zero Mini, and Year Zero Mini can be downgraded without any issues. That's not so easy to do at the moment because I've changed how I've added basically like an opposed roll mechanic. And while I kind of like that mechanic, it doesn't really suit Year. I did have a think about actually adapting Year Zero Mini to include that as well. And in the end, I just felt it was not really something I wanted to do. So I'm going to stick with my original vision for Year Zero Mini, and because I'm very close to releasing that at version 1.0. And I'm going to be updating this now today for an hour. In fact, I'm going to start my timer very quickly. Here we go. Delete that one. Don't need that one. All right. So, let's get started. The first thing to look at is, well, I'm just going to start going through and looking at this from a critical perspective in terms of, is this different to how Year Zero Mini works? And if it is, I'm going to change it. So this doesn't really make any difference here. Your mouse, I'm calling it jobs. We're going to change this to or we're going to keep it called, yeah, we're going to call it a job, which is basically a concept. And I'm just going to reduce this down to a number like six jobs. So I'm going to get rid of some magic because I don't really want to include magic in this. I've got 7 here. Which one am I going to get rid of? So I've got a bruiser, big paw. I've got a herb finder, a ranger, a burglar, a warrior. The warriors, I mean, the big paw is kind of like a warrior. The rat catcher is a little bit of a nod to Woofrup, and I don't necessarily think it's that appropriate here. Creepy crawly is going to be an insect tamer. This is a strong warrior. This is a warrior. Big paw, we might call this, instead of big paw, we might call it by making these lowercase, I'm kind of implying that these aren't part of the job description. In fact, we'll put these in brackets as well. an outdoor survivalist. It's not a great word for kids, but I'm gonna leave it in for now. What's the other name for a survivalist? Wilderness dweller, backwoodsman, frontiersman, hinterlander. A mountain mouse. That'll do. Like a mountain man. Big paw, a warrior, herb finder, healer, long shot, a ranger, sneak thief. I'm gonna make these. We're not gonna make it into like that. I was thinking about changing the names from being Gaelic and Celtic to being maybe. I'll do that another time, but I can always change that. So I've got here somewhere. It's in a spreadsheet, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, stats are fine. That's I basically said here you've got 9 plus 6, so 14 stats. Which if I look at year 0 mini and the starting attributes here, making a setting, we're talking about here 12 is the middle ground, and tweaking. Hold on. For a gritty campaign, grant 10 attribute points. For a more heroic campaign, grant 14. Increase this number by 2 for a one-shot. So we're saying by making it 14 points, this is more of a heroic field. It has a more heroic feel to it. But the number, you could increase the number by 2. So we could go up to 16, basically. Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. So we're going to stick with how I've got it here, at least for playtesting purposes. And that's what we've got here. So you put a 5, something you're good at, you get a 5. Something you're bad at, you get a 3. And the other 2, you get 8. Oh, sorry, 8 plus 8. So this is actually 16. This is actually pretty forgiving. Never mind. I was looking at this the wrong way around. I was doing 2 lots of 3 and 1 lot of 4. Yeah, so this has got 16 attributes, which is fine. So if we go back, what else we need to look at here? So one thing I did talk about here was simplifying for kids. So we've renamed the attributes. We've changed advancement. We're going to change advancement completely to just be between sessions. Mark progress between sessions. Remove all character traits other than concept and asset. So you got the concept. And asset is basically your signature item. So let's have a look at that very quickly, which is this memento here. So we've got the concept, which is fine. We don't need any of this stuff here. My brain's not fully working this morning. Slick, mousy name for your job. Trying to use it, avoid terms that are the stats here: strong, quick, clever, friendly. So clever is effectively a stat I really want to keep the name for. One thing I did think about was changing this again from being adjective: strong, quick, clever, friendly. I'm going to leave it, actually. We're going to leave it like that. Right, let's look at what we say with assets here. I'm just going to copy this and then redo it. You start the game with one memento. An item which says something about... An item that says something about who you are. Here are some examples. Don't pick something boring. Try to make it interesting. So I'm going to redo all these. Here's some examples, but you can also come up with your own. In addition to what about here on my sheet? Name, job, and look. I think look is probably worth keeping, actually. Bits and bobs. Okay, there's not actually a lot here, so just bits and bobs. I'm not sure memento is the right word. Let's look at synonyms for memento. I mean, relic is a good one. Token could be a good one. Or badge. Yeah, we're gonna go with badge, I think. In addition to your badge, choose 2 other pieces of equipment which are two other items and write them under bobs on your character sheet. Bits and bobs. You need some money. You'll need money as you travel around the Mouselands. In Mäuschen special coins are made out of... What would mice be making money out of? I guess they would be mining and normal things like that. So we'll call them made out of silver. Special coins are made out of silver and are called bits. To find out how many you start with, roll 1d6, roll 1 die. Whatever comes up is how many you start with. Get. That's a, yeah. At the start of the game. Any other items that you have? Any items other than your badge? Any items other than your badge that you have are called bobs. At the start of the game, pick 2 bobs and write them on your character sheet. Try to come up with bobs which are typical for your career. Try to come up with items which would be typical for your career. Any bob can provide 1 bonus die on a roll. If a bob can help with a roll, you get 1 extra die. Here's some example bobs, but you can also come up with your own. Each mouse should have 1 weapon. If your badge is a weapon, then pick, your bob, your 2 bobs, your 2 starting bobs can be something else. If your badge isn't a weapon, you will need to pick one. You will need to choose a weapon for one of your bobs now. Here's some example weapons, as well as some other Bob ideas. So we're going to come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to make this into double column format. Lovely. So I've got some sample weapons down here, so I can just look at them very quickly. So we got a sling, a sword. We don't need to have all this extra stuff here. I'm not sure I want to have armor either in this. So the first one's going to be a dagger. Second one's going to be a slingshot. The third one's going to be sword. The fourth one's going to be bow. What's another mousy weapon? A hammer. Or an axe. We'll go with an axe. A dagger, a slingshot, a sword. I'm going to put the slingshot at the top here. So at the top is a slingshot and the bottom one's a bow. Slingshot. Is it one word? Slingshot? Yeah. Get mouse guard out and have a look at the equipment section for this, because I think they've got a lot of some really interesting things. What I could do actually is, when I talk about a badge, if you're using one of the example jobs, here are some suggested starting badges for your mouse. So Big Paw, your badge is going to be sledgehammer. Sledgehammer or spear. The herb finder is going to have a medicine bag or poison herbs. The long shot is going to have a bow with arrows, with 12 arrows, or slingshot with 12 stones. Sneak Thief is going to have a black cloak or some key picks. Lock picks, we're going to call them. I guess we're not going to rename these things. Creepy Crawly is going to have a bumblebee pet. Pet bumblebee or a pet. What other kind of interesting insect could you have? What's a good insect? What's a hardy insect other than like an ant, which is too small? Bees are cool because they can fly. I mean, a beetle could be kind of cool. Yeah, we'll go with a beetle, I think. Or giant beetle. And the thick fur is going to have a 4 torches or no, torches aren't that useful. I mean, the idea is I don't want to pick something that's got limited use and then it's gone. If I'm numbering just torches, then that's kind of useless. So the survivalist is going to have hook and rope for like climbing around, or trap kit, making traps. Okay, that works. If you want to come up with, if you want something else, here are some more examples. What I might do is I might just copy that and do another double column spread here, just so there's plenty of options, because options are great. You want lots of options. So what are we going to have here for I need to do that still, so I'll come back to that. Bits, bobs. I'm putting a hyphen in slingshot. I kind of like, I know it's not necessarily the right way to write it. I know a slingshot is the kind that you kind of pull back where it makes the like the Y-shaped thing, and a sling is much more medieval, the kind that you twirl around, or just historical, I should say. But for kids, I think they will be able to get, like, I think most kids will know what a slingshot is because it's something you can still use, and it's in a lot of a lot of media that kids see these days rather than something you twirl around. So I'm going with slingshot just for flavor reasons rather than historical reasons. Obviously, if you could just ignore that and change that if you wanted to. Bits and bobs. Okay, so we've got the slingshot, we got a dagger, we've got a sword, we've got an axe. I actually want to provide options that aren't listed here. So we've got the only weapons we have are a sledgehammer, a spear, a bow, and a slingshot. And that's it. So we're going to get rid of the slingshot and the bow and the spear. I'm going to come up with some other weapons. So we've got the dagger. I'm going to put the dagger here, actually. We're going to go with an axe for the second one, then a sword. And I'm going to look at mouse guard. Not sure there is actually weapons in this or equipment. From memory, I think it might be that you just assume to have everything you need. Let's have a look, page 23. Gear. So where's the gear? So we could come up with a staff, for example. That's one I'm seeing on an example mouse. We can change this from daggers to throwing knives. That's kind of cool. We can then we'll put up here. We'll do a short sword. No, we'll call this a short sword. Then we'll do a long sword. Then we'll have an axe. Then we'll do a staff. We'll put the long sword at the end here, actually. And I guess we could do a mace. Our morning star, maybe. Yeah, we're gonna stick with a mace, I think. And we're gonna get rid of the short sword. We're gonna call it a dagger. And we're just gonna call this a sword, just to make it simpler. You can throw knives, you have a staff, you have a dagger, you have a mace, an axe, or a sword. Those are all ones that aren't listed in the other list. Okay, cool. So now I have a selection of there's 4 weapons listed here with two of the example jobs. I'm just going to highlight these, so like this. We're going to actually put a look in here as well. I want to put the look in. This is kind of a trait where we can do some random tables. What does your mouse look like? Pick or roll on the tables below, or come up with your own description. Okay, white fur, black fur, gray fur. So black, gray, or white fur. You could have sandy fur, brown fur, or what other colors are mice? red fur. Then you're gonna have, you could have end of tail missing. Eye patch. Cut in one ear. Big cut in one ear. Singed patch of fur from a fire. Okay, and these we're going to make into a double column again. Cool. And we're going to start the numbering. Like that. Boom. So, you could have different colored mismatching eye colors. One blue, one green eye. One blue and one green eye. So I'm kind of going in terms of tone, like color tones, or yeah. So you kind of lighter colored fur is a low roll, and the darker colored fur is the higher roll. I think personally, from thinking about it as if I was a mouse, I'd want darker fur, which is why I've gone with 6 being the higher number there. Obviously, the lighter your fur is, the more likely it is you're going to stand out in a forest environment, which is where we're going to be setting this game. But it doesn't really matter anyway. You can just pick one. But yeah, I'm actually going to just say pick an option from each column below, or come up with your own. Fur color. So just this one is going to be like that. Don't have the option to do this one separately. I do. Okay. So this one we restart the numbering. And that gets a bullet. Alright. So you have a fur color, and you have distinguishing mark. Okay, that looks good. I could just end up playing around with this for a long time, couldn't I? Move these in a bit. Okay. Distinguishing mark. End of tail missing. Eye patch. Big cut in one ear. One blue and one green eye. I like having fire singed patch of fur. And what would the last one be? Cat scratched scar. Huge cat scratch scars. Or long, I should say. Long cat scratch scars. Cool, I like that. And I could even do it like this, so I'm not numbering it. So I'm kind of going away from numbering things and just doing it like this. I think that works. And I can do the same thing here. I can go with weapons. And we can move, we can say this is starting, we're going to go with numbers actually, like this. We're going to right click here and restart the numbering from 1. Whoops. And here we're going to go with other bobs. Whoa. Wrong button there. And this is going to be restarting the numbering. So you got to restart the numbering first to get it to work. And then, yeah, it should just nicely change like this. So we wanted to bring this back to 0.31 on both sides. Like that. And bring these back to 0.50, which is where it's at, and bring this in slightly to 31 like that. Okay, so this just needs bringing back in to 31. Okay, and then we're going to change these back to bullets. There we go. Nice. Okay, that's a little bit easier to read then, without having to reinvent anything. Come up with a good name for your mouse. Names tend to be words. Mice like names which have something to do with nature. Here are some examples. And once again, I am going to put 2 columns in here and change them to this. So we have names like Storm, and rowan, which is a type of tree. Dandelion. Thunder? Is that a good name for somebody? Thunder? Storm, rowan, dandelion, midnight. Brook. Ivy. I'm going to line these up so they're roughly masculine and feminine. Dandelion, brook, ivy. Thistle. Rose. Willow. Dewdrop. Frost. I'll put these in alphabetical order as well. It's just brainstorming at the minute. Storm, rowan, midnight, thistle, frost. Actually, instead of rowan, I like ash. I'm trying to get a bit of a mix here, so not too many, like one, yeah, some kind of stormy or weather-based things. Okay, so I have two flowers here, a dandelion and a rose. So maybe I'll get rid of rose. And willow's probably going to be the last one on the list. We're keeping it alphabetical, so I'll do that. Storm, ash, midnight, thistle, frost. So we got thistle and dandelion, or those are good. Brook doesn't really have an alternate here. Willow and ash, ivy, and another plant. That's another good name for a plant. I'll come back to this, I think. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I've got like 13 minutes left on the stream. I want to kind of just start scrubbing some other bits rather than working on that. So village, we'll do later. Rules. Okay, this is where I really need to scrub it. We don't have different types of dice. If your badge can help, add 2 extra dice to your pool. If one of your bobs can help, add 1 extra die to your pool. You can't use both your badge and a bob on the same roll. If anything else can help, add another extra die to your pool. I think that's in line with what I've got here. So let's look here. The rules, building the pool, concept. Oh, your job. The job. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in. So much easier without the mouse die. Just less rules, and that's a good thing. So pick a stat. If your job... If you should... If your job... If training in your job... If you are trained in your job to do whatever you're trying to do, add 1 extra die to your pool. If your job gave you training to help with what you're trying to do. If your job gave you training to help with what you're trying to do, add 1 extra die to your pool. So let's look at the thing here. If there is something if there's something making it harder to do what you want, remove 1 die. Make it be a bit harsher here and say remove 2 die. That could mean you're only ever rolling 1 die. If you're bad at something, you start with 3 dice and you don't have anything that can help, then you would have only 1 die left. We're going to remove just 1. If something is making it harder to do what you want, wet stones when you are climbing. Darkness when you're trying to find something. These are called disadvantages. Here are some examples. Tangling vines when you are trying to run away. This is clever. And friendly would be trying to make a trade with a mouse who doesn't like you. Trading something with a mouse who doesn't like you. Okay. Once you've gathered your dice pool, roll all the dice and look at the highest die that you rolled. I'm not going to put the mishaps in here because I don't have them in this. If you rolled extra sixes, things go well in the best way possible and could even have bonus side effects. One to 5, you've failed. Snags mean that something else happens to add a twist. Twist to the story. This shouldn't make your failure worse, but rather cause some other bad thing to happen related to what you were trying to do. To work out how bad the snag is, look at the highest die in your pool. I'm doing this backwards. Alright, timer. Thank you. So, snags, we're going to do that. That's fine. Combat. Don't forget to add an extra die or 2 for a badge. For a weapon. If you have a weapon. You get 2. And you get 2 dice if your weapon is a badge. Anytime an attack lands, lower your health by the amount of weapon damage. If the attack lands, lower your health. How am I doing conflict again? If a foe has a special trait which can cause damage, they inflict an amount of damage equal to their rank in that. If a foe has a special trait which can cause damage, they inflict an amount of trauma equal to that special traits rank. Remove 1 die from your pool if the shot is relatively long. Remove 2 dice if it is at the very limit of that weapon's effective range. These become a lot easier to do as well. I mean, don't even need to have these necessarily. I think this is, it really isn't needed for your stats, this whole table. So again, I'm by removing some of this, by making it more in line with Year Zero Mini. Here as well, I don't think I need anything. I don't need a bits and bobs section. Look at that. It should be on chapter 8. I'm now on chapter 5 because I've removed stuff. I do want beasts, and I do want to outline the world, and I do want to come up with some adventure sparks. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly add here in beasts what I wanted. Create. Each beast has special traits. Consider special traits and weapon values for each creature listed. So I need to add in here something about special traits. I'll put that in the combat rules. I'm going to put it here actually. We're going to put in here special traits. I'm going to copy and paste from here. From the Game Master chapter. So I'm going to highlight this. We're not going to highlight it, we're going to add a comment. The comment is, no, we're not going to put a comment in, we're going to add a note. Okay. Copy from Year Zero Mini. Tweak for this. Cool. I'm really happy with this change. I've already simplified a lot of stuff. It definitely feels like I've minimized the previous stuff I'd written. Yeah. The only thing I would put in here is chasing. I would talk about social conflict, and we'll talk about chasing. I want to make sure I don't forget about that. Yeah, so we're going to call this, I think we're actually going to make this a new chapter. So we're going to insert a chapter. Insert a page break. We're going to call it conflict. I'm going to give it number 5. Which means these all go up a number. All right. And that just makes it a little bit easier to kind of break all the text and to find stuff. So yeah, contents. Let's play your mouse. Your village. The rules. Conflict. Beasts, the world, appendix, and the open gaming license. Cool. So your village needs a new one. All right, there we go. I'm done. So if you want to look at this, game, the link to this document is in the description. So go ahead and check that out if you want. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. It's a lot closer now to how Year Zero Mini works. It's kind of simplified a lot of things. I'm going to take out this Neon City Overdrive because I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. And in fact, Hero Kids, I'm not really using anything from Hero Kids anymore either. So, because that was more to do with how I had character creation before, and I'm not doing that anymore. Now we're just doing it effectively the same as Year Zero Mini. Mouse Switcher is still an inspiration in terms of themes. Mouse Guard as well, and Red Wall. In fact, I'm going to put Red Wall and Mouse Guard at the front, and Mouse Switcher at the end. Don't need to do that anymore. Let's just have a look at this as well. I could definitely do that. I could definitely add permanent trauma or death. We're going to get rid of that. We've done that. Got money. We don't need to put skills in, I don't think. And we're not going to have matching dice because we're not doing that mechanic anymore. So these options for additional complexity are just taken out. In fact, I don't even think I need to add bravery, and I think because we've got you retire after your health goes down. I think that's fine too. But I am talking about social. I'm talking about social conflict down here. So I'm just kind of considering whether I want to do something to do with that. In fact, let me just quickly change these to... I really don't like this header. Go back with cabin sketch. I'm going to make it italicized and non-bold like that. Looks better. Taking damage, being broken, healing. This is all part of combat. Good. Cool. I'm gonna get rid of these bits here just to tidy up the outline. All right. I'm really happy with that. So social conflict is something where I might want to include bravery as a track. So you've got how brave you are and how healthy you are. And when your bravery goes down, then you become a mouse and you run away. And you also mark. I mean, that doesn't seem to be too, well, it was one of the things I did say here was that we just would have, where did I put it here? Luck points. I need to add luck points to this, of course. Just add that before I forget. The rules. snags, special traits, and then here I'm gonna put luck points. All right, I need to add luck points. Whew, good point. In fact, I need to add that before I get, probably after snags and before special traits, because they allow you to re-roll, and that needs to be closer to, like when you roll. Luck points and re-rolling. All right, what else did I forget? I mean, completely ignore equipment and wealth. I'm gonna just get rid of that bullet there. Keep trauma. So I'm saying I am keeping trauma, and in this game I do have 2 lots of trauma here. Health and, well, harm and stress. So I could go with health and bravery. Just wondering if it's too much to track. I've got two things to track. I mean, you can ignore bravery. Just bravery can be the same thing, and it's you can use it or ignore it. I think that's probably fine. So we're going to talk about your mouse. Now down here with social conflict, include bravery as a trauma trait. So we're gonna have to put stuff in here for like how you take damage, how you break, and how you heal with social conflict. We're gonna add that here as well. We're gonna have health. And we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're gonna have bravery. All right. Your badge, your bobs, and your bits. All right, just kind of tweaking the character sheet here a bit. All right, so that's my character sheet. I've included bravery. Chasing we'll get to as well. In fact, chasing I'm just going to paste in what I've got here as well, just so there's something in there, and then I'll highlight it, and that way there's something there to work with. So we're going to highlight this. We're going to add a comment and say copied from user mini. Needs tweaking. Put anything for social conflict in here? What, combat? It's fine though. Cool. An hour and a half. I only wanted to do an hour, but it's been a while since I've done this last, so that's fine. I'm going to stop now. So thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.